Hi everyone, it's Jaden with Refusing to be Mediocre. Today's video is all about motivation and the different types of ways of motivating yourself and just the different ways that people are naturally motivated. So some people are more motivated by the idea of pleasure, so a reward kind of system to doing something, and other people are purely motivated by pain. So for example, a situation that you're no longer enjoying, or you reach a point that you're just not happy anymore, and that causes you to make a change. I think both play a part for everybody, but I think there's one predominant one for everybody. For me, pain is definitely a bigger motivator than any sort of reward system to get me to do something. So for me, when I get to a point of frustration, I am far more disciplined and motivated to make a change than I am if somebody, or even myself, said you can have X if you do something like towards my goal. I am way more motivated by, for example, the dog chasing me rather than £1 million at the end of the racetrack. I don't know if you've ever seen that analogy before. And the way to use the pain vs pleasure technique is very much done on language and how you can watch certain videos. The way that they speak is going to motivate you differently to someone else that's more motivated by the opposite pain or pleasure tactic. So you can see types of motivational videos that are very much, quit being a loser, quit being weak, blah blah blah. Those types of videos, for someone that is motivated by pleasure, that might not work for them. If anything, it could cause them to have more anxiety about the situation or the goal. But for somebody that's motivated by more of a pain, that sort of language will motivate them and they'll get quite pumped up by it, and they'll be more ready to go do that workout or do the work that they need to do, make those phone calls, and they'll get kind of fired up. Now someone that's motivated by more of a pleasure or reward system, for them, being encouraged along their journey, or maybe if they're working out, being more encouraging is going to get them to achieve their goal, rather than telling them quit being weak, one more rep. That isn't going to work for somebody like them. If anything, it might upset them. The more language towards you can do it, more positive, sort of nice language, is going to have a much more more impact for someone that is more motivated by pleasure than pain. But I definitely learned that it's a combination of both, and this is where you can really use it to your advantage once you become aware of what works for you. So if you are someone that leans more towards the pain, use that type of motivational content, videos from the person you're working out with or your business partner. Use that language, or ask that language to be said to you in order to get the result that you're looking for. But you can incorporate, kind of the pleasure side of things by, redoubling down on the motivation. So, pushing yourself to go do it, but then saying you'll also get a reward for doing that. You've got twice the reason to do it. So I do try to actually use a bit more of a reward system. Although I am more motivated by pain, it's not good to be in a state of anger and frustration all the time, because you're not enjoying life. So I started incorporating a lot more pleasure and reward system into doing things. So for example, if I do everything that I said I was going to do for the week, I'll maybe spend the evening gaming with my friends, like online, and just having some proper chill time. And that just reminds me that that there's good in doing well. It's hard to explain, but like when with children, like that star chart thing, that works for a reason. That constant recording how well you're doing and rewarding each step of a child doing well, it works for a reason. So use it on yourself. You're never too old to have a tracking system on your progress, but two, to reward and be proud of yourself for taking the little steps, because it's actually the little steps over and over and over again that actually get the bigger result. It's not some huge thing that you can do in one day to achieve the outcome that you're looking for. So my big tip there is to, be proud of the little steps. So if you chose to eat fruit over a chocolate bar today, give yourself some encouragement about that. And if for you didn't do it, and the pain kind of method works for you, have that kind of conversation with yourself. Have that honest, raw conversation with yourself, and be like, you're going to do better tomorrow. Like, for me, that's the kind of conversations that work when I'm talking to myself, as crazy as that sounds. And I know that a lot of people have this kind of like stigma about needing external motivation. So it's not a bad thing to need external motivation. It's like saying, well, I showered once, I don't need to do it again tomorrow. That's just not how life works. You need sometimes that extra, boost to get the job done. So, there might be something to look into more if it's a thing that you're needing every day to get stuff done. But if that motivational content gets you going, and you're off and you took action, that's great. It's definitely not a negative thing, and sometimes you just need an extra boost or a hand to get going. To me, there is no wrong or right way to be inspired or motivated. I just think it's about getting a good balance and really being aware of what works for you. I think a lot of people could have opinions on, oh, that's negative self-talk, telling yourself or telling each other you're weak, silly things like that. But when you actually kind of look over successful people, you recognise a lot of same traits, or same stories, should I say, where they'll say, everybody told them they couldn't do it. They were told over and over again they were stupid, or they were weak, they couldn't be that athlete, they had this disadvantage and this disadvantage. And actually, because of all that, they kind of had this I'm going to prove people otherwise mindset. So I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing to have negative. It's not, to me, it's not even negative words. It's just a different way of motivating each other or yourself. And actually, sometimes it might actually be the truth. If you are, maybe weak or something, by knowing that and actually being honest with yourself of where you are, that can be very, very motivating. Being really honest about where you are in life, physically, financially, education, anything of the topics that are important to you. Being honest about where you are is a great way to motivate yourself to get where you want to be. So what's your way to motivate yourself? Are you a more pain kind of person, or are you more rewarded and motivated by a reward system and pleasure and kind, sort of encouraging talk? What's your preference? Comment below. I'll be interested to see if there is more of one kind of person than the other, just out of curiosity. And yeah, stay motivated and stay inspired. Life is very short, and we've just got to keep going for those dreams no matter how hard it gets, and just never give up. And I really hope that my content, as well as the community I'm looking to build, really helps each other achieve those goals, and we'll basically support and encourage each other, and that's my aim for these videos. So I hope you enjoyed watching that. Please give it a thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you in